It's Desm 101, and I'm back with another walkthrough guide. It's been a while, but I recently played through Ninja Gaiden 3 on my Twitch stream, and I've been practicing it a little bit more since then, so I figured why not put up a guide for it. And I'm certainly not an expert at this game. It's actually quite challenging still, even after playing it for quite a while. As a kid, I could never beat this game, but I thought that now that I've learned it a bit better, I can maybe share some of the things that I've learned after playing this. And I'm pretty good at the first two. I generally haven't had much problem beating those ones. But this one I really had to spend a lot of extra time with, even after the fact that I know the Ninja Gaiden games pretty well. So let's get started, and I'll give you my tips. So the first Ninja Gaiden game I played was Ninja Gaiden 2. I rented it actually. It was one of the first games I rented for my NES back in the 80s, and it really blew me away. And then later I played the first game, and it took me a long time till probably in adulthood to be able to beat them. I really wasn't able to as a kid. So some of the innovations on this one is that the wall climbing is different from the first two. You can now like jump up the ledge. And also you can get a sword power-up that makes it more like Strider's sword attack. Gives you more range, and it appears to do more damage. So the first stage, there's not a whole lot to talk about. It's just straightforward. Run to the right and get to the boss. Oh. That sometimes happens to me where I'm dropping off a ledge and then I'll accidentally grab onto it, not really sure. For the boss here, you just go right up to him, you can start attacking him. And after a couple seconds, he'll just want to jump. There you go. So just jump whenever you think he's going to take those shots. If you're still learning his pattern, you can simply wait. Stand away from him and wait till he starts shooting, and then jump in between them that way until you get the hang of the timing. So it does slow him down a little bit when you attack him. So if you're not hitting him, it'll seem like he'll attack faster. So this stage we've got some quicksand and a bit more challenging level design overall. With these enemies, I like to jump towards them, and usually I can strike them on the way back down. And then these other guys will be jumping onto the screen. You usually want to try and attack them as they're in the air. And if they're close enough, you can strike them, or they might jump over you. Oh. Like there, you want to get him in the air. That one will jump over you. Okay, not doing great. Lost a bunch of hit points. We're at the halfway mark. I like to jump down there and attack the guy. Make sure to dodge that spiked ball. And if you're still getting the hang of this game, I would recommend to play the Famicom version, which is the original one. It's far easier. The enemy placement is more forgiving. And you have unlimited continues as well as a password system, so you can easily continue. This one is notoriously difficult because, as they say, the rental market made developers increase the difficulty whenever a game came out here in the States, and that was to increase the amount of times that people would rent it for that market. And well, that's how I primarily played it as a kid. I didn't own it until a few years back, but I do have an actual copy of this game. Just a loose cart. I don't have a complete one. But it's arguably the most well-polished Ninja Gaiden game. There's a one up there on the right. You can either grab it first or kill the guy first and jump over his shots and then kill him. And yeah. These parts you'll just want to be careful before you jump up to the next platform, because there's usually enemies that won't show up until the screen scrolls a certain distance. When you've got that sword power up, you can see it has really long distance, so even like on gaps you can reach across it. For this boss, you just wait for him to come down to the ground level. Keep your distance. Oops. He goes in kind of a wave-like pattern. A little tough to predict at first, but he goes down pretty easily, as long as you avoid him. So this level is where things really start getting more tricky, and you'll want to be aware of how to manipulate enemy spawn points. So depending on where the screen is scrolled at, you can kind of determine when an enemy is going to spawn. So of course that means that you gotta memorize what enemies are going to show up where. So over here, for example, you can use that to clear out that area to grab that full magic power up. And these fish that jump out of the water, they're a huge pain in this stage. So to get this part, what I recommend is to jump while it's at the far edge, coming up on the left. And then try to grab the one up here, and then use your ninja magic on the next one. And you should make it across successfully. If you go too early, then that fish is going to basically spawn right next to you. And it's really hard to get the timing correct, so instead of having to get that timing for the hit on the fish, just wait until, you know, it's on the other side and coming back towards you on the way back up. If you time it then, you're far more likely to make it through that part. So for here, you want to just try and slowly, steadily make progress. Oops. Particularly with these little brain things on the ground that shoot fireballs, you want to carefully go and take them out as soon as you see them on the screen. Watch out for those spike balls. Okay, in this room, take the top route. That's what I do. When you get here, grab the ninja power, the ninja magic power up. Okay, and then wait. When you go up on this one, be careful. Don't move the screen yet. Watch. Slowly move it until the guy behind you shows up, and then move ahead, and you'll get these other guys that you can slash right through. Here, same thing. Wait until that flying guy spawns, and then move forward. While he's trying to turn around, you'll actually be able to just move the screen past him, and he won't bother you anymore. So the screen definitely kind of can take enemies away or despawn them, which is effectively like killing them. So you're kind of up against the currents there. Here's some health up if you need it. And those scrolls that we're collecting are increasing your ninja magic total. Once you grab the scroll, you can skip all this stuff. Just stay on the left wall until you get here. I always wait for this guy to shoot the fireballs, because sometimes he'll just strike you right when you're coming at him. Okay, for this room, you want to try to just, if you want to get the sword power up, you want to kind of steadily make progress, and that's because these flying guys, as they spawn, they'll try to keep up with you. So you can see here's another one there. They'll spawn again. You can either stop, or you can skip over them like that. But as long as you're kind of in a rhythm, you should be able to anticipate when they're going to spawn again at you. Okay, for this boss, you want to attack the demon on the right. I usually try to go around under that way. Oops. Okay, took a bit of damage there, but you can avoid those shots a lot better than I did. Sometimes I'm able to. So similar stuff as before, lots of tricky platforming that we'll have to get the hang of for this level. And they also, the developers do something where they kind of have enemies spawn right at the ledge, which will make you jump into them a lot of times, like that. Right there, see? If I jumped right away, I probably would have taken damage or get knocked back. But if you're kind of hesitant, that's usually a better way to give yourself a little bit of time to attack them. Can ignore these guys. Oh, go up here, grab the one up, jump ahead of the enemy so that he have to kind of chase you there. There's another scroll. Here I like to shoot the ninja magic and jump down, wait for him to pass. Okay, and then there's another enemy across the gap there like I was just talking about. So the game loves to put those in front of you. This level is pretty hard because of this spike trap, and we'll see more of these at the end of the game. Oh. Kind of tricky to grab that, but it's always recommended. So just make note of the timing with those spikes. Sometimes you could jump a little early. Oops. That wasn't great. These purple guys will come straight at you if you're at the same horizontal spot they are. So be really aware anytime you align with them because they'll start moving faster and faster towards you. So just again, try to get in that kind of rhythm of the timing. You can just jump across here. There's the boss. So this guy's pretty hard to beat without taking damage. Oh. If you can time it right, you can kind of rush through there without too much trouble. For this boss, get close to him over here. Try to strike him as many times as you can, then go to the far left and wait here. 3, 4, 5, and then move away at the 5th shot, because he'll always spawn again from where you're standing. 4, 5, okay, now move away. There you go. He's a pretty easy boss compared to many of the other ones. Okay, now we're at the castle. It's another common spot where the enemies spawn right at a gap like I was talking about earlier. So my strategy here is to just kind of try and rush through this a bit. Because the game will just throw a ton of enemies at you right here. Okay, and this room is really hard. I recommend getting all these guys to spawn first, because they'll really crowd the screen. And get rid of them as your priority before you continue. Okay, now go to the next one. And I also recommend to save some of your ninja magic for this part, for this jump here. So use it right when you're going across the gap, and usually should be able to make it. There's a life up here, so just strike as soon as you land. Grab the life up. Okay, and carefully make your way. I took a bunch of damage there. You can do it without taking so much, but this guy will always come after you right when you're about to jump, and then that guy's right there to kind of block you. So here's a checkpoint for this stage. Some of these parts, it's maybe best to kind of take your time, because they'll start spawning a ton of enemies to kind of close in on you at the same time, so you have to figure out which one to attack first so you don't take a bunch of damage. Go down here to get the sword power up. Up here you can just quickly move up that way. Get to the next area. This part's not too tricky, you just gotta avoid these guys. Okay, here you want to just move straight ahead and look out for the one-up and grab it. There it is. There's the life up right now. And carefully kill the enemies around it, and then should be good to grab it. Continue to carefully work your way up here. Okay. Almost to the end of the stage, so this part definitely kind of take your time. Get that guy to... Oops. See, I messed that up. Should have waited. But you can see that it did that thing I was talking about where it spawns two guys at once, basically. If you go slow enough, though, you can make it so that the one guy will come before the other. But you just have to kind of tiptoe carefully. But if you mess up like I did, then they'll both come at you and put you in a predicament. Okay, now here's another boss. This guy's not too bad. I just say jump over his ninja stars. And then try to follow him for one, and then stay back. Jump over the ninja stars. So, it's a pretty easy rhythm, actually. I always do the same pattern over and over. Once you get the hang of it, he's really easy. No problem there. Okay, Act 6. Things are getting pretty tough by this point. This is a stage where I will usually get stuck. Particularly in this first area, there's a lot of really difficult segments here. So starting right away, it's all icy. What I recommend is to just barely jump on this platform and then kind of stay there. To see this exploding thing come, and then carefully jump ahead. And this part in particular, you want to kind of definitely take it slow, see? Oops. Ah, man. So easy to get stuck between two enemies, how the game does that. It's really annoying, but... There's your sword power up kind of early in this stage. Oops, I'm wasting all my magic. Okay, this is a big vertical level. The best thing you can do is probably just try and rush a little bit, but carefully. Looking out for... Oops. Where the enemies are coming from. Save your ninja magic. Oh, crap. For right there. Okay, and then I usually kind of go fast here for a moment. Stop to get that guy. Okay, and then go quickly up here. See how that one guy got off the screen? If you wait, that can help you a lot of times. We're nearing the end of this segment where it'll go to the second part of the level, where it's basically a checkpoint. So that's the goal, because if we die after a checkpoint, we can obviously start there instead of going back to the beginning of the stage, which can be hellacious in this level. Just be patient with this guy. Kill that, one at a time. And then you should be clear for the next section, okay? So this area you have to be careful because the ground is like quicksand. There is an extra life coming up though, so that can help you if you already have like a life. Even if you're low on HP, you can grab the extra life and that'll give you more chances. There's another scroll, so we've got 80 magic points now. And we just filled those up. This part's kind of rough. Really easy to get cornered there anytime there's enemies like directly above you. I skipped that area there all the way. Okay, this is the final segment before the boss. Oh, careful. A bunch of enemies will start dropping down here. So just kind of take your time. There's another sword power-up. Okay, at this part, there's the extra life. So in the air, shoot the fire, and then jump. Take the time to kill the enemies, and then you're going to time this jump really carefully. There we go. Till the guy's on the other side. Same, do it one more time. Oh! At least I got that one up. Okay, we'll try this again. Get the one up. Kill the enemies. Yeah, make sure the coast is clear. Until this guy gives you enough room. Okay, there's going to be a bunch of enemies that drop down here, so slowly move forward. Okay, and now at the boss, you'll want to stick to the walls and hit him from behind the back. Okay, so he's very similar to one of the bosses in Ninja Gaiden 2. Those obstacles or the boulders from the ceiling can be tricky to dodge. Especially because you're in that quicksand. Oh. Okay, we'll try again with a bit more life this time. So the boulders do seem to be random as far as their location. Like I said, you can dodge them, but they're pretty tricky because of the quicksand. Getting pretty bad luck on this last couple times here at this boss. I don't know why it's usually you can have a little more space to dodge the there we go. And also make sure that you jump onto the wall after you beat him, or keep jumping, because you can actually die there waiting for the screen to go blank. It's happened to me a bunch of times. Very frustrating. Alright, Act 7. So now this takes us to the end of the game, which is where I spend the most of the time. And we'll just use the same things that we mentioned before. Anytime there's a gap, there's usually a good chance that they'll spawn an enemy right there. And they're getting more complex with the enemy placement now. But you should know most of these enemies' patterns pretty well. Enough to where you know how to at least strategize whenever they show up. And that's another one. After that gap, it was like enemy on both sides. So if you're gonna try and make this in one life at the final level, you need this, and you need to not get any other special weapons, get the fire wheel, and save it until the spiked area. That's a pro tip. I've not actually been able to do that, you know, to stay alive for that long. I'll usually have to, you know, use the checkpoints to kind of make progress in this level, because it is really pretty hellish. Okay, so that's the first checkpoint that we've reached for the final level. So I just try to kind of hurry up this area here, carefully kind of taking out the enemies as they spawn. Make sure you grab that power up and carefully go up here until you're kind of diagonally above these guys. Wait till the gun opens and there's a bunch of enemies nearby. Shoot the weapon, the ninja magic, and it should get most of them. There's going to be a guy coming out right in front of you here, and then right behind you there. just based on that platform. So get them, take out that guy. Hopefully we can make it to the next checkpoint. It's kind of a slim chance, but we'll try. I always just go to the edge here, wait for that guy to start walking back. You can just walk off this ledge. Quickly move up here, grab that. Kill that guy. Carefully get rid of those guys, and then watch the platform below and just try to align with it when you drop. Jump over the hazard. Grab onto this at the edge. Stand on the far left ledge here. Okay, try to get this one up. It's really hard to get that. But again, a lot of enemies will spawn right behind you. So just kind of carefully move the screen forward. Here I like to jump here, use the windmill star, and then jump. And then so pretty much each platform here, there'll be 2 of those guys coming for you, each platform. There's 2 of those. Each moving platform, I should say. Maybe not that one, the next one will spawn 2 more. Okay, here they come. Okay, there's going to be 1 more at the top. You can actually skip him if you just want to run to the edge. Okay, there's a life up here, so carefully go forward. Get these guys to spawn. Quickly kill this little eyeball dude and then that rocket launcher. Okay. Carefully go up here, and then you're going to go down, hang down from here. There's 1 more extra life. But as you can see, the timer right now is going down pretty quick. We're not going to be able to beat the game or make it to the last boss with this amount of time. This is what I was saying. If you had the fire wheel, you can use it to skip through a bunch of this stuff, the spikes, but as you see, because of the time constraint, we are going to inevitably die, which is definitely pretty cheap about the game. To beat it, no death, you have to basically speed run and save the ninja magic. So I like to wait here for a second. Once the spikes go up, then go up. Come up here, kill this guy. Use the ninja magic. Then when the coast is clear, go through the door. This part's really challenging. This is one of the worst corridors in the game. So I jump to the very first block on the right here and then move to the 3rd one to attack the enemy. Watch. First block, attack him. That way I land on that middle one, the 2nd one, and then you can go back with the rest. A lot tougher than you might think. Okay, here's the next really difficult part. So wait here on this 2nd one. There's another scroll. Okay. Oh, you can see the time's running out. So we're at the 2nd to last room, and we're gonna die. But this is just the way the game is played, right? So just quickly try to regain that momentum. But we don't got any time constraints really now, thankfully. Once you've made it to that checkpoint and then you die and respawn there, that's your most likely chance. So again, wait until the spikes go back up, then go up. This gives you a chance to make sure to have time to get all these guys lined up and use the ninja magic. Okay. So the trick here with these last areas is just trying to take as least damage as possible. Which is much easier said than done. Because you'll need every little bit for the 3 final bosses. Go back to that one. So that's usually about as good as I can do, losing 3 hit points there. Okay, quickly go up here. It's easy to get damaged on these. And they take massive amounts of damage if you are too slow. Yeah, I like to wait just to make sure timing is good. Okay, almost to the last room. Carefully. Timing is really important. Okay. So here, if you've got full magic, you can just quickly go across to this guy. Wait for those to come down. If there's a laser there, give it some time. So kind of wait a little bit as it goes by so that you can make sure to not land on it when it comes down. Okay, then stand here. And as soon as you get to the ninja magic, use your attack. Because those guys will drop down. So that's pretty much it. This is the last regular guy of the game. And we're going to go make it to the final bosses now, which are challenging in their own right. So the first guy here, what we're going to want to do is be ready to strike him at, maybe a couple times, and then once he takes damage you want to run because he'll shoot lightning down, and the lightning you have to avoid it by running either left or right on the screen. And so when it strikes, you want to make sure it's not like right up against the wall. So let's try. There we go. Wow. That was actually better than I usually do on him. Usually he can take down most of my life. Okay, for the second final boss, you want to try and strike him when he's kind of powering up and then run on the ground. Don't go to the walls. He's really tough though. It's good to save your ninja magic for this guy. Uh-oh. Ah, okay. Yes, okay. So that's one way to beat that guy. That means we're on to the final boss. But probably won't be able to beat him with the amount of life I have. He's pretty tricky to beat him without taking damage. The timing is really kind of tricky. Like, I'm not really 100% sure how the timing works for the... Sometimes the laser will shoot two. You have that like wave beam that comes at the bottom. I mean, the best thing I can say is try to be patient to kind of recognize the pattern. It's pretty easy to take damage on this guy. I think I'm out of ninja magic too. Okay, once that's done, just move in close. Okay, be careful. Okay, let's try this again. No. Yes! Finally! Whew, that is really tricky on my last life, but it's over now. Wow, finally beat it. Took a bunch of tries, but at least it's done within a reasonable amount of lives taken. So let me know some of your tips. How do you get through Ninja Gaiden 3? And let me know if this guide helped you at all. And with that, it's going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you later. Cheers.